Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to another scene for Living World of Darkness, Camera and Anarchvenia. The scene takes place inside the bunker, and it opens with Arthur and Selena sat inside one of the communal areas, I guess, and they're just having a little bit of a chat. Not really a private discussion, but they're sat away slightly from everybody else. And yeah, that's where we start.
Selena would be layering compliment upon compliment on Arthur, telling him how fabulous his work is and how how much she appreciates his gift and how she's been studying it since she got it and how much she loves it. She's very, very pleased with it. That would be evident.
Yeah, having so many compliments makes him kind of uncomfortable. He kind of looks a little bit. He looks really, really happy with the compliments, but also at the same time really awkward. And he's just sort of going, "Oh, well, thank you, my lady, thank you." I'm like fiddling with his handkerchief.
And then Selena will kind of look at him at some point with a kind of mischievous glint in her eyes and say, "So, exactly what is going on between you and dear Nikki?"
Arthur raises a brow. I'm not entirely sure what you mean, lady.
Selena would grin. "Well, I mean, tell me if it is none of my business, of course, darling, but there certainly seems to be quite a bit of chemistry between you two."
Miss Bonnet is we share a passion for intellectual study.
Selena would just raise an eyebrow and grin. "You share a passion?" "Yes, I thought so." And he'd be able to tell that she's just kind of playing with him a little bit and enjoying his discomfort somewhat, but in a nice way.
He smiles, but you can tell that if he had blood, he would be bright red. He has that sort of expression of, oh God, can we please change the subject? Yes. He's looking around, hoping that he's looking for something to change the subject. Like he sort of he wishes that he was in the library right now. But maybe when he looks up, something catches his eye.
And something does. It's about that time that Nikki is walking in with Alec, having spotted Selena. She promised Alec a few nights ago that she would introduce him, so that's what she is on her way to do. She's got Alec kind of by the hand, not dragging him, but just saying, "She's over here, come on."
Okay, well, this should be interesting.
And as soon as Selena sees them coming, her eyes would be all over Alec. She'd be kind of looking him up and down in the most inappropriate way. And she would recross her legs so that the thigh-high split in her skirt showed quite a bit of leg.
In contrast to Selena's seductive / demure, cool, calm, collected wait for their approach, as soon as Arthur sees Nikki, especially on the crux of this conversation, he stands up, but he does so sort of so awkwardly that he probably knocks a table or something. And he just sort of stands. He sort of very hurriedly stands up, and then stands there looking flustered for a moment. fiddling with the he sort of fiddles to put his handkerchief back into his top pocket. Ah, good evening.
Nikki smiles when she sees Arthur, and she nods to him. Well, good evening yourself. And then she turns her attention to Selena for a moment.
Selena would smile up at her. Nikki, darling, a pleasure to see you as always.
It's good to see you as well. I have someone I'd like to introduce you to.
Selena kind of pouts her lips and says, so I see.
This is Alec. Alec Michelson. He's of Clan Gangrel. Alec, this is Selena of Clan Toreador. And she then just kind of like pushes Alec over to Selena, and she goes to stand next to Arthur. Glad that the introduction's over.
Alec will be pushed forward very slowly as he kind of adopts this very sort of confident posturing phase as he bows incredibly low and like kisses Selena's hand and going, "My lady."
Well, darling, aren't you just delicious? Please, take a seat. And she pats the seat that's closest to her.
He'll smile and sit down beside her, pushing his blonde hair out of his eyes.
Darling, I was rather impressed with you stepping up to Isaac's leadership earlier. It was most brave of you.
Well, thank you, but it's not something I think. It's just he's a good man and he is worthy to follow, and I would go do that for him. That's all. It's not anything to be complimented, my lady.
Oh, but darling, compliments are so much fun to give and especially to receive. You mustn't put yourself down. But you are correct. Isaac is a wonderful man, it seems. And we should all rally beneath his banner, as I said earlier. He can take us to victory, I'm sure of that. And with you by his side, well, what could possibly stop him?
That means a lot coming from a woman such as yourself, Lady Selena, as he gives a bit of a more kind of confident smile.
Darling, once all of this trouble is over and the city is ours once more, I'd be delighted to show you some of the more pleasant sights, if that's something you'd be interested in.
He kind of, smiles to himself and looks over. It would be something I wouldn't mind having a look at.
I'm sure you'll find that this city has some rather beautiful sights. And he'd be able to tell that she was implying herself, but she wouldn't overtly say it.
Oh, he just smiles. Oh, I'm sure. And if you need, perhaps I can show you a few things about the finer things of art. Maybe a Gangrel can show you that the Toreador would appreciate.
Oh, I'm sure I'd appreciate anything you had to show me.
He'll smile, and if he could do that, he would blush quite profusely. But he just smiles and looks down.
Arthur, meanwhile, while these two are having the, least subtle flirting situation of all time, he goes and he pulls a chair out for Nikki to sit down. He sort of stands behind it and then pulls the chair out for her to sit down opposite Selena.
She sits down and smiles at him.
He sits next to her and sort of flicks out the tail of his frock coat, and then sort of folds his hands on his lap and says, "Yes, it appears that our Isaac has a lot of popularity when it comes to this warlord status."
Yes, he has quite the experience, from what I understand. I had a chat with him last night. He seems like he knows what he's doing, so I definitely support that.
Handsome fellow too. Some gentlemen have it all, he says, smiling to Alec a little bit as a sort of sided compliment.
Alec just returns a smile. Ah, Arthur, you are a very attractive man in many ways. He just sports a wink.
He's just sort of like he doesn't know how to react to that because he wasn't expecting it at all. So he's just like, thank you.
Well, Nikki gets kind of
it
wide-eyed
appears
at
that
that,
we all-
like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that either.
Selena would just look between them and grin broadly. She's imagining all kinds of things right now.
I did not mean to make you stumble. I'm just saying. I'm just being honest with you. There are many more than just a beautiful face. I have heard about things about you, and you seem like a complimentary man. That is all. He just smiles then.
Well, thank you very much, my friend. It appears that we all appreciate one another, which was a good thing. He smiles amongst the group.
Nikki nods and smiles as well.
Well, with such delightful company, what's not to like? Selena looks around the group approvingly.
Nikki agrees and kind of shoots a glance at Arthur when she says that, the delightful company.
Alec is subtly trying to look at Selena a bit more, but he's just like stroking his beard, just like, yeah, just nodding.
Selena would be kind of subtly adjusting her dress slightly to show maximum cleavage, and sorry, out of character laughter, and just be kind of leaning slightly towards him, not too much. Just she's remaining quite cool, but she would look around them all and say, "Darlings, you must have heard of this problem with Lady Antoinette, the former prince's wife."
I have heard of it, and I made a decree that if my services are needed, you may simply just ask. He just, shrugs.
Well, I happen to have found out where she may be tomorrow evening, and if you feel like going to a party or two, then I'd love to have you along.
Party? He just kind of smiles. I would be honored to go to a party with you, Lady Selena. Honored.
Well, wonderful, darling. And she'd look up at Arthur and Nikki.
You see Arthur animate when a party is mentioned. A party? How exciting.
Yes, I've been told that Lady Antoinette will be attending one of 3 parties. So it will be our duty to attend them all and find our dear elder.
Well, we must be very careful at these parties, considering that Sabat may also be looking for Lady Antoinette.
Well, with Alec by my side, I'm sure I'd have no reason to fear anything.
I'm capable. I can handle most situations. He sort of winks to Nikki, hinting at the other night. Quite a good driver, wouldn't you say, Nikki?
Oh, yes. Yes, he definitely knows how to handle things.
Selena would chuckle.
Arthur does not like this comment. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can make a manipulation subterfuge roll. I can. Excellent. He does not like this comment, but he keeps a straight face.
You can tell that I'm not even gonna roll for it. That Nikki was a bit uncomfortable making that comment. Like she was trying to go with the flow of things, but she turns red when she says it because she's able to do that. So
Arthur's sort of done this sort of facial expression that is kind of neutral, but in its neutrality is kind of revealing, I suppose, because he's not very neutral. He's quite an expressive guy. He's got this sort of neutral expression on his face, and he says, "Well, I'm sure that Alec can look after you both sufficiently in this encounter. Then the salt intensifying."
Oh, come now, Master. I'm sure you're capable, man. No need to batten yourself down. No, I'm sure you're well able to handle things.
From what I hear, you're awfully good with a big weapon, Arthur.
when Arthur says that, Nikki gets a little bit of a hurt expression on her face. Well, I was hoping that I'd be going with you, Arthur.
Mm. It seems to sort of soften him down a little bit. Well,
I was just reassuring Selena over here that he can handle things for her.
I see. I apologise. I'm a little bit concerned about everyone's safety at the moment.
Selena
but-
would catch Alec's eye and kind of nod slightly to the other two and give him a kind of a look like, check out these two, and a slight smile.
He smiles and kind of gives you that same look, like, "Oh, I know, I've been clocking it." He's just smiling broadly at Nikki and Arthur, you know, with this kind of very almost like leans on his chin, and like, so as he kind of looks at Lady Selena, kind of, you know, hinting, "Should we ask her? Are you two a thing or something?"
No, we're just friends, right, Arthur? Just friends. And you can tell she is not confident when she says that.
Selena would look up with interest and look at Arthur, waiting for what he says.
Arthur looks like he's been put on in the worst possible position that anyone could have been put in. He sort of he has a mild expression of panic. Yes. Miss Barnett and I are good friends, and I greatly enjoy her company.
Nikki beams.
Like leans back as almost that's exactly what he wanted to hear, just kind of with this smirk on his face. Good friends, I see. Good friends.
And I would be delighted to escort you to the party.
She looks at him and smiles and nods.
Do you think I could get away with bringing this? He takes a piece. He seems to eternally have pieces of paper or stuff. He's got like a Mary Poppins coat. Inside his coat, he's forever bringing stuff out of it. You wouldn't be surprised if he had like a small armory in there. He sort of reaches in, and as he actually opens it, you can see that the coat has loads of pockets on the inside. One of the pockets, he pulls out a long piece of paper and lays it on the table, and it's the schematics for a crossbow that fires stakes.
Oh,
I was thinking about calling it the party starter.
something. Oh, and you can tell that Nikki's like really fascinated by the idea of that. Like, oh.
What do you think, Lady Whittaker? Would this be appropriate for your soiree?
She looks at the weapon and smiles. Well, as it can be so well hidden, then perhaps. But
Oh,
as I'm
yes.
sure you're aware, darling, these types of parties are quite particular.
Well, the wonderful thing about the modern era, Lady Whittaker, is that they use metal detectors to detect for guns, but they don't often detect for wood.
That is very true, darling. And I know that a gentleman like yourself would not dream of breaking the etiquette of these types of events. I have absolute faith in you, darling.
Of course not even for a moment. And I've even designed it to fold here. He points at the somatic. So that I can conceal it better. The advantages of being particularly giantesque is that I can conceal all manners of things under the right kind of coat.
Selena just raises an eyebrow. I'm sure you can, darling. As I'm sure, because she just can't help herself, as I'm sure Nikki will no doubt be finding out firsthand.
Alec
At
tries
some
not to laugh. He just coughs.
Nikki looks down and she blushes as red as she can with her blush of health. Like, that's not, yeah.
I think you have embarrassed the young lady, Miss Selena. Alex trying not to laugh.
She would lean forward and put a hand kind of gently on Nikki's knee. I'm so sorry, darling. It was not my intention to embarrass you. I sometimes should think before I speak.
It's no problem. It's okay.
Just, my clan, when we see love blossoming, we just can't help ourselves. I'm delighted for you both. And she just seems to be completely pushing aside the fact that you both just said you were just friends. She's just going along with her own views.
Fuck my life. This looks like what Arthur's thinking right now. He's thinking, "Fuck my life." But at first, when she said about what's under his coat, that comment, he just seemed quite oblivious to, almost to what she meant by it, and he sort of opens his coat a little bit, and he just goes, "Well, yeah, I designed it myself." But then when she says about love blossoming, he just sort of side eyes at Nikki, looks at Selena, and then looks like he wants to disappear into the ground.
Yeah, Nikki is looking down at the floor, but she does like kind of side eye Arthur a little bit, like, sorry.
Selena just watches all the awkwardness with a smile.
Alec is smirking, kind of. Actually moving a bit closer into Selena, is just kind of smirking.
She'd be enjoying herself.
I see that matchmaking has not escaped you, Lady Whittaker. I feel a little bit on the spit at the moment.
Oh, darling, everyone needs a little love in their life, wouldn't you say?
Well, the last time that I had a little love in my life, I ended up waking up a kindred, so I'm not sure where it would lead me next.
Well, isn't that the fun of the adventure, darling? Not knowing?
Perhaps. He seems wary. He actually shoots Nikki a kind of a concerned look. More seems sort of like worried about her comfort in this scenario.
She's not exactly sure what to do right now. Like, she feels like she was very much put on the spot, and that's not her comfort zone at all. um, but when you look at her, she looks back and she smiles.
He sort of reaches over and pats her hand gently.
She'll then
So,
actually scoot a little closer to him.
He sort of straightens up a little bit. He's trying to make it look like he's not comfortable. I don't know. I don't know how to explain that. I suppose the straightening up is an effort to mask his reaction to her reaction. He straightens up and he says, so I take it we're all in support of Isaac as warlord.
Yes, I am. Pretty sure that Lady Selena and Alec are after their show earlier. So I think that he will. I think that he's the best chance that we got right now.
Selena would be nodding in absolute agreement.
Alex just does one nod. Samson will follow what I say as well. No need to worry about him.
I hate to insult my clanmate, as I believe that Lucius is a ample leader. But Isaac was the regent's choice, and I don't believe for a moment that she would choose somebody that was unworthy. I have not met the gentleman myself.
Well, he is awfully impressive, as are all the members of Clan Gangrel in the city, it seems. And she would shoot Alec a very complimentary look as she said that.
He'll smile. He is Gangrel. We are adaptable to any situation. He'll smile at Selena. I'm sure, like Toreador, are prolific in their abilities to handle anything. Handle the things that, well, beauty and all this. I'm not very good with words, my lady.
Well, have no fear, darling. I'm certainly adept at handling what I need to.
I'm sure you are. He's just lean back, kind of like, probably giving Nikki the same look that she had earlier, like, oh my god.
Arthur tries not to make a Beauty and the Beast comment. Really tries hard.
Nikki, noticing that Alec is the one a bit uncomfortable now, she just kind of smiles and gives him a wink.
So Selena looks round at them all. So, who's up for a little party then?
Yes, party. I don't know that I have much to wear to a fancy party.
Oh, darling, I'm sure I could lend you a dress. That would be no problem. Come with me. You can have a look at what I've brought. Obviously, I don't have the whole collection because, well, we're here. And she kind of looks around at the bunker with a not too complimentary expression. But I have brought one or two little things. Come, I'll show you.
Okay.
I'll help you with makeup too if you want. And she seems
Sure.
like really excited about that. She's going to get to do girly stuff.
Yeah, she's not exactly sure what to think, but she's like, sure, whatever, why not? I'll play dress up with the Toreador.
And Selena
yeah,
would grab her by the hand and turn to the guys and say, we'll be back momentarily once we've made ourselves beautiful. And she'd wink at them and then like troop off to wherever she has her personal stuff with Nikki behind her.
Nikki kind of gives both, as Selena drags her off, Nikki kind of gives both Alec and Arthur a look like like she's a bit scared, but she smiles. She makes sure that she smiles at Arthur before she is dragged off too far.
Arthur's eyebrows look like they've headed skyward. As soon as there's a suggestion of Lady Selina's dress being on Nikki. Because he knows exactly what those dresses are like.
Once,
So he's just like,
once Nikki gets to Selina's room, wherever she's staying, there would just be like lingerie and designer clothes and makeup and things. She's made herself at home. She's brought a few home comforts. And yeah, there's like just designer, like Victoria's Secrets type lingerie kind of spilling out of cases and things. And she starts just going through dresses and holding up various ones. They're all very expensive, all very exclusive designer labels and things, all pretty revealing. Well, no pretty about it. They're all very revealing.
Nikki looks like that she's a child in a museum. She's not much sure if she should touch anything. But she at all of the dresses, and she chooses one that is the least revealing out of the revealing dresses. But yeah, so something pretty. Obviously, everything's pretty. She'll probably ask Selina for a little advice on, what would go with how she looks and things like that. So, but she'll eventually choose one that's not as revealing as some of the others, probably.
And yeah, Selina would answer all her questions and be more than happy to help her out with everything, and kind of do her makeup for her and fluff up her hair and style it and everything, and then get herself ready. She's not shy in the slightest. She would just unzip the dress she's got on at the moment and let it drop to the floor, and then select another one that's even dressier than the one she had on. And before she puts on the next one, she'll do her hair and makeup and things, and just be kind of walking around and chatting to Nikki, wearing just kind of brown panties that don't cover up very much at all. And
Nikki goes a little wide-eyed, like, oh.
Yeah, Selina wouldn't even notice any discomfort or anything. She's just, that wouldn't even enter her head. And yeah, she'll make herself look her absolute appearance 5 best, step into her dress and ask Nikki to zip her up.
And Nikki does so, albeit a little bit nervously, but she does zip up the dress.
And Selina would look at herself in the mirror. There's probably at least a couple of full-length mirrors in the room, and say, well, I think that's us ready to go. Shall we go and surprise the boys?
Yeah. She looks at herself, definitely not what she's used to wearing, but she actually likes what she sees in the mirror, so she hopes that Arthur likes it as well. And she walks with Selina back to where they are.
And once the boys are ready, I think that's where we can end this scene and go and party.
Yes.
Yeah, when Nikki and Selina come back, Arthur's sort of gone and changed into a different suit. It's sort of quite a tuxedo. It sort of looks like a tuxedo that is probably somewhat more dated than it should be. It's very, very nice, but it has this sort of stiff-collared Victorian style, a little bit like the one in the photo, actually. And a long black coat. He's completely. He nearly sort of. He just sort of nearly falls over when he sees Nikki. Not literally, but sort of figuratively.
Alec looks like one of those playboy Russian billionaires as he's like buttoning up his shirt as he looks up and sees Selena. So she probably see his bare chest. He kind of freezes for a second, and like buttons up really quickly and just pushes his hair out of his face and like looks at Arthur, kind of probably the same glance Arthur's giving to Nikki, just kind of, you know, like wow type of stare.
Nikki is smiling widely and blushing as always in the dress that she has on.
You both look simply marvellous. A visage of perfection.
Oh, yes.
He directs his
Selena-
comment more towards Nikki than he does Selena, but he tries to make it like he's talking to them both.
Selena would certainly have noticed a bit of chest showing on Alec, and she would kind of stand in front of him and then do a little twirl and kind of stand arms outstretched. So, darling, will I do?
You will do marvelously, my lady. Words cannot describe your beauty.
Why? Thank you. What a charmer you are.
I do my best.
She'd be smiling at him very flirtatiously.
He's smiling very flirtatiously back.
As soon as Nikki gets close enough, Arthur will take her hand and kiss her hand gently.
And she will smile and blush some more.
And then he sort of places it to link arms with him and looks to Alec and Selena to begin to move out.
They would move through the bunker, I guess, to see if there was anyone else that was interested in going along. And then they can leave to party.
Mm-hmm. All right. So with the foursome having done all the innuendoing that can be possibly done for one evening, we will close the scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Till next time.